Give it to you at the Sergeant at Arms.
Okay, thank you.
We do confirm that you are the said Reverend Symon Kiuta, and as such, this is a sitting of the county assembly, and any person who appears before this assembly has to take an oath to enable us to have a discussion with you, or any discussion with you. At this point, I would like to request the clerk to guide the nominee in taking of the oath. You may take an oath or you can affirm.
I, Symon Kiuta Lonyayo, do swear that the information that I will give to this committee is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Honorable members, the clerk has confirmed to me that the nominee has taken an oath and is now proper before this committee. And allow me to introduce to you that the nominee before us this morning is Symon Kiuta Lonyayo, and is the nominee for position of CEC Education, Sports, Culture, and Social Services. Reverend Kiuta, you will have 60 minutes with this committee. It will be an interactive session where these members will ask you questions, and we expect you to be candid and brief and precise to the point, so do not pass manage time. A brief introduction of this committee. This committee of appointment draws its mandate from the Constitution, and the enabling statute is Section 7 of the Public Appointments, County Assemblies and Approvals Act number 5 of 2017, and Baringo Assembly Standing Order number 190, which mandates this committee to test the suitability for any nominee for the position of CEC. This committee is chaired by myself as the speaker, and it has the number of members you can see with us here. I'll invite each of these members to do a self-introduction, then we'll go to the next stage. Let me start from my immediate left.
My name is Max Yalo, MCA Mogotio Ward.
Good morning. I'm Daniel Tweet, Loreria, MCA Rip Kowat, and Minority Leader.
Morning. My name is Ernest Kibet, member to this committee, MCA Kabarnet.
My name is Aib Kibet, MCA Eholel Chapchap, a member of the committee. Thank you.
My name is Chen Jerob, nominated MCA, Baringo County, member of this committee.
Good morning, Reverend Kiuta. My name is Lawi Kipchumba Talam, MCA Lembus Queen, the Majority Leader of Baringo County Assembly, and also a member to this committee. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I am Lokorio Josephat, MCA Barweza, Deputy Majority Leader and a member of the committee.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vanalyn Jerob, nominated MCA Baringo County and a member of this committee.
Allow me also to inform you that Honorable Kipruto Kimosop, who is also our Deputy Speaker, is a member of this committee. He is not with us now because he's in the county assembly transacting other businesses, but he will be joining us as we proceed. Yes. We also have one of our members, Shedrack Mailuk, who is also in the county assembly transacting other businesses, but he will join us in a short while. At this moment, let me invite the clerk to do introduction for herself and the members of staff present.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Winnie Chemase, the Clerk, County Assembly of Baringo. I wish to introduce the technocrats, the staff. From the far left, we have the Deputy Clerk, James Warata, Zipporah Koroti, Hansard Editor, Madam Betty Toroitich, Head of Legal, Lulu Chochoi, Head of Human Resource, Tekeiwa Henry, Head of Research, Emma Kemei, Head of ICT. We have Lokorio, the Sergeant at Arms. We have Tuikong, Head of Communication. On the far right, we have Sharon Serem, Hansard Reporter. Then we have Hilda Kiprono, the Head of Administration. Thank you.
Reverend, you have heard, I now know that you know all of us here. When we invited you for this interview, or for this vetting process, we requested you for original documents, to carry some original documents. Kindly let's have your original documents and offer to the Sergeant at Arms. The said documents will be handed over to you after this vetting by the same Sergeant at Arms. Reverend Kiuta, do you have a valid KRA tax compliance?
Yes, Chairman, I do. It is within the folder.
Do you have a valid higher education loans board clearance?
Yes, Chairman, I do.
Do you have a valid Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission clearance?
Yes, Chairman, I do.
Do you have a valid certificate of good conduct?
Yes, Chairman, I do.
Do you have a clearance from the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission?
Not really, Chairman.
Okay. Do you have a valid clearance certificate from Credit Reference Bureau?
Yes, Chairman, I do.
The clerk will confirm the said documents, and in case there are any clarifications, we shall request you for clarifications, if any. Reverend Kiuta, have you been charged and convicted in a court of law?
No, Chairman, I haven't.
Are you a dual citizen?
No, I'm only a Kenyan citizen.
Let me take you through your curriculum vitae and the form you signed. When you took a questionnaire, and we told you to fill the same. I can see the same is duly filled. And as such, so we don't take much more time, kind and briefly tell us about yourself in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. As you've already know, I'm Reverend Symon Kiuta from Churo, that is in Churo Amaya Ward. That is where I was born in 1964 and raised there. Growing up as a little boy, my main responsibility was to take care of livestock, beginning with goats, then cows. And later on, I was privileged to send myself to school because nobody sent me. And I went through primary school at Churo Primary School. After that, I joined Marigat Secondary School. Later on, went on for my A-level at Kabarnet Secondary School. And after that, I was privileged to have a call from God. I had so many other options then. But because of my background, I come from a very humble background. And the Lord just saw me through school in a very miraculous way, all the way from Form 1 to Form 6. So after finishing A-level, I thought to myself, what can I give in return to what the Lord has done? So I decided to train as a full-time minister of the gospel. And I went to Scott Theological College, currently Scott Christian University, where I pursued a bachelor's degree in theology for 4 years, finishing in March 1993, and went back home to Churo, where I served at Churo High School, a school we founded through the partnership with missionaries. And there I served as a teacher, come chaplain, and also served in the church in various capacities. And that is the time I got married to my lovely wife, Grace, and God has blessed us with 5 children. And so after that again, Chairman, in 2002, I had the opportunity of getting recruited to be a chaplain at Moi High School, Kabarak, where I served for almost 5 years. And then afterwards, I went to the university as a lecturer, where I've been lecturing for more than 10 years, up to 2019 September. And alongside that, Chairman, I'm one clergyman who is so privileged that the government has considered me severally for being appointed a director. I was appointed as a director with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. From 2009, I served for 3 years, 1 term, and then also renewed. So I was in KBC for 6 years, where I served in various committees of the board. And later on, Chairman, I was also privileged to be appointed a director with the Postal Corporation of Kenya, where I served for 1 year. And then I tried my hand in politics, vied for Tiaty parliamentary seat in 2017, although I did not make it. And recently, Chairman, to 2019, I was appointed as a director with Water Resources Authority, where I served until February 2022. And Chairman, that is much I may want to say. I know, of course, I have a long history, and all of it is contained within my curriculum vitae. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend, for the impressive CV. Are you a member of any professional body?
Not Chairman.
When you introduce yourself, or during the self-introduction, you said you went to Marakwet High School, Marakwet Secondary, and Kabarnet High School.
No. Sorry, Chairman, if I did say that, that's not the case.
You said you went to Marakwet
Secondary School.
Marakwet Secondary School and Kabarnet High School.
No, later on. I went to Kabarnet High School for my A level.
However, you did not tell us the grades you attained at Kabarnet High School and at Marakwet.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Chairman, at Marakwet Secondary School, I attained Division 2 grade. And at Kabarnet High School for my A level, I had 2 principals and 1 subsidiary. And they are all contained within my certificates there.
I've also been following keenly your curriculum. I've gone through your curriculum vitae, and I know that one thing, that you have served in various boards. However, I have not seen a place where you have indicated where you have been involved in any administration or management of any institution.
Oh. Chairman, I was only afraid that the 2 minutes may not be sufficient. I have a lot of it there. I have been involved in administration in a number of institutions, one being Churo Secondary School, where I served as a chairman of the board. And I was also given the privilege of serving as one of the board members at Pemwai Girls High School.
Reverend,
yes.
Let me cut you short. When I talk about as a board member, you're oversighting the managers.
Yes.
I'm asking in a situation where you're in charge of the day-to-day running of an institution. Remember, this time around you're appointed as CEC, and a CEC is somebody who will be in charge of the running, day-to-day running, together with the CEO. So I'm asking you, for the last, I see you completed your high school in 1993. For the last 29 years, have you been in an institution where you have been in charge of the management? Or have you run an organization for those 29 years where you're the person in charge?
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you, Chairman. I have been serving in various capacities within the church setup. I have been the chairman of my local church, chairman of the district church council, and also vice chairman of Baringo Regional Church Council. And even as we speak, although I serve as an associate pastor, but also in charge of a church at near Kabarak, AIC Rafiki. So in as far as church ministries are concerned, I've been providing managerial leadership in a number of capacities.
Let me narrow down to 2 issues. The first one, when you talk about managing, you have been in charge of regional church council, you have been in charge of local church council. How many employees have been directly under you? And secondly, the portfolio. What the accountants call, how much have you been in charge of? Like, what's your budget? The budget that you have been controlling in that institution, in those institutions.
Thank you, Chairman. You really have to appreciate that in as far as the church setup is concerned, you may not talk so much of a big budget. Other than in the boards that I have been providing oversight leadership, those are the ones you can actually talk of huge budgets. And I do believe, Mr. Chairman, that despite the fact that a person serves or provides oversight leadership, there is really a very thin line between oversight leadership and also the actual managerial leadership, because in one way or another, there is a similar synergy that is provided.
Thank you, Reverend. My next question, you have served as the board member of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation and Postal Corporation of Kenya. Can you tell us your greatest achievement in the 2 boards? Just one. You can pick either Postal Corporation or Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Like your greatest achievement that when you sit down today, you'll say, it's through the efforts of Reverend Kiuta that we have this in Postal Corporation or in Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me pick Postal Corporation. Although I only served for one year before I resigned to get into politics. But one greatest achievement that I recall, and even the employees that are still there still remember, is that I was assigned to be the chair of a human resource committee. And while there were so many challenges that really contributed to the demoralization of the human resource within Postal Corporation. And with the help of God and with the support of the entirety of the board, we actually had a turnaround through my leadership, whereby we considered coming up with incentives that will encourage and will motivate the employees. And also, a number of employees from marginalized communities and minority communities within Postal Corporation then were not really given they were not given promotions, especially to senior positions. And one of the things I did with the help of the board is that we did streamline the management of Postal Corporation, whereby we saw a number of minority groups, some from the coast, Masai land, Samburu, being promoted. And there was such a change of heart even among the employees, to the extent, Chairman, that after that 1 year.
So, Reverend, let me cut you short. We can say, while you are at Postal Corporation of Kenya, you ensure that the minorities were recognized.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And my final question, so that I give to members to ask you questions. Let's go to your questionnaire. And specifically, you talked about your net worth. If you can, how much are you worth?
What I feel in the questionnaire, Chairman, is exactly what I'm worth of. 31,800,000. You mentioned some assets in Kabarak. Yes.
If you can explain to members, especially I'm only interested in that particular one.
Yes, Chairman. I have 2 assets in terms of land. Those are immovable assets. 1 acre, which if you sell it today, the price is 8 million. And also 5 acres closer to that place, at a place called Olrongai, still 6 kilometers away from the main road, worth 4 million each acre. That is 20 million. And I have a car, a very old car, which can cost 800,000. And back home, I have a big farm, but the value is very low. 50 acres, and probably 50,000 per acre. So I'm worth that much, Chairman.
Thank you, Reverend. So, but you have documentation to prove these ones?
I have not brought with me, but I do have them.
Thank
yes.
you. Yes. I was consulting with Mr. Honorable Kipruto Kimosop. He was in the assembly. We had a session in the morning, and he had to start it. We had to send him there. Okay. So he may ask you one question or two at this moment.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Reverend Kiuta.
Yes.
I know I'm not completely new to you.
No.
We have met before in this public life. And I will pick it up from where the speaker has left. And maybe at a personal level, what makes you really think you are suitable for this position?
Chairman, I strongly believe that I'm suitable for this particular position. Simply because you look through my CV, I am not a trained teacher, yes, but I have been an educationist all through my life. I have passion for education, and I believe, as Mandela said, that education is a game changer. And from where I come from, I am known, history has it, that I was very instrumental in starting not only churches, but also nursery schools within the churches. And those have become now primary schools. And also I was very instrumental in founding Churo Boys High School, Churo Girls High School. And I did have the opportunity to work with the TAC as a trained teacher after my A-level. And I taught at Tangul Bay Primary School for 1 year and sent by the Ministry of Education to go and start Chemolingot Secondary School. And so I'm so passionate about the education of the young children. And also I'm so passionate about the empowerment of the youth, because the youth are our future heritage.
Which ordinarily would have brought me to the second question, which I would still ask, modify, and that your past experience, when one looks at it, is more of religious, Christian, and evangelical passed out work. That is the experience that I get. And now you are getting into a government job. How will that past experience be applied in this new position, which is a county government in nature, a government job in nature, and more or less a policy level position?
Thank you, Honorable Kimosop. Before you came, I had actually shared of various positions I have been privileged to serve in the government. So I'm not really getting to a new thing. It's like fish getting to water, because I have served as a board member in 3 government institutions. And again, even with that, Honorable Kimosop, you know, the church has been at the front line, you know, promoting education from my own experience and what I did. So if there's any institution that could be credited for education even in this country, is the church. Yes.
Okay. What is your understanding of an inter-county relationship, and what would be your approach towards the inter-county relationship? What would be your understanding and specific approach of an inter-county development?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In as far as the inter-county relationship is concerned, after the devolution, you know, so many functions have been devolved to the counties, and the counties cannot operate as silos. There is so much that counties can borrow from each other. And now, for instance, Mr. Chairman, what the docket I'm assigned, if approved by this House, to take care of, we have a lot that we can borrow from other counties. For instance, we have a number of challenges facing our ECD teachers, especially when it comes to remuneration, when it comes to terms of service. And there are other counties even across, like Uasin Gishu, which the other day, you know, gave their teachers better terms as permanent and pensionable. We can still benchmark and borrow a leaf from them. So there's so much that we can borrow. And I'm sure even we have the North Rift, you know, county forum, whereby counties within the North Rift have come together to work toward, you know, being of use to each other in terms of economy, and I'm sure even in terms of education. There's so much sharing that goes along, and I'm sure even the Constitution allows that you can even enter into contracts with other counties Yes.
I think, Chairman. I was worried because there is inter-county and intra-county. But now you have satisfied my curiosity.
Thank you.
What I had in mind was your thoughts around our relationship with other counties. We have Turkana, we have Elgeyo Marakwet, we have Laikipia, and I think I'm impressed that you understand the knowledge on the relationship between counties, and you have also dwelt on intra-county. So I think I'm satisfied, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kimosop. Reverend, maybe because when you'll be answering questions, you'll be answering through the chairman, and even when members will be asking questions, they'll be asking through the chairman.
Okay.
Because of time, so that we are able to move fast, allow me to request Honorable Lawi to ask a question, followed by Honorable Tuwit. Yes, let's take the questions from the two members.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Mr. Kiuta.
Yes, sir.
I've perused your CVs, and I've never seen any management course you have attended. Yet this job of the CEC is basically management. Have you attended any course, any management course?
Yes, I have. Chairman, I have. Through my CV, I attended a management course offered by corporate governance, and also I have attended a course at Kenya Institute of Administration then, which I'm sure now is the equivalent of where we are, on transformational leadership. And I've had induction conducted by the School of Government. I think it took like 4 days, whereby, we were taken through on how government works and the synergy that exists within government entities. And I believe the same concept is not different from what I will employ within the docket I am nominated to, which I believe you will approve by the grace of God. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Reverend Kiuta.
Minority Leader.
Okay, morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Okay, Chairman, I want to ask Reverend to outline 5 key national county strategic priority areas for Department of Education, Sports, Culture, and Social Services. I have another question. Again, Chairman, I want to ask Reverend to identify 5 key performance indicators for the county ECDs, and vocational training centers. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. To begin with, in as far as the national sorry, I think the question was so compounded. If you wouldn't mind, Chairman, if the member would not mind, maybe you can repeat that first one.
Okay, outline 5 key national and county strategic priorities areas for Department of Education, Sports, Culture, and Social Services. That's the first question. Second question, Reverend, is identify 5 key performance indicators for the county ECDs and vocational training centers. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. First and foremost, nationally speaking, what we have within the counties is devolved function, but in the real sense, the policies emanate from the national. In as far as ECD is concerned, it is incumbent upon the county to ensure that standards are maintained, that ECD centers are qualified to be ECD centers, offering the acceptable type of education or the standard education, and also it has to be quality education, and therefore the quality assurance has to be in place. And on the other hand, Mr. Chairman, you know, sports is such a key area in empowering the youth. And one of the greatest desire, even with the national government and of course by the county, is to ensure that sports are promoted within the county. And of course not working in isolation from what happens within the national level, that the talents that are there among our youth, by all means, are actually utilized and they are unleashed for the empowerment of the youth. And the vocational training centers is also a devolved function when you look at the Schedule 4 of our Constitution. And therefore, these ones also have to meet the criteria of the national government, because the education that is offered within those centers should be measured to the standards, because they are even examined by NEC, and therefore it is so it is always encouraged that the county has to put in a lot of effort and resources into it. And then culturally speaking, of course, you know, the aspect of culture is such a promoter of our national values and a promoter of national coexistence among even the communities of this country. Getting to your second question is about the indicator. Sorry, once again, sorry, Chairman, not that I'm deaf, but let the member repeat again that second question. Sorry for that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chairman. It's like the Honorable the Reverend has answered even question 2. Mm-hmm. So you have answered, because you talked of vocational training is in the number 2 question. Number 2.
2 follow-up questions, Reverend.
Mm-hmm.
You are the nominee for education,
yes,
sports, culture, and social services. Maybe I want you to list for us 3 issues that you'd like to see. I know you know we are in the third county government. We had the first count between 2012, 2013 and 2017. We had 2018 and 2022. Now we are 2020-2027, and you are the CEC. Can you tell us 3 issues you would want to see, or 3 projects you would like to see implemented in your department? And secondly, a follow-up question to what Honorable Lau had asked you. You said you attended a course at Kenya Institute of Administration, which is the predecessor for Kenya School of Government. Can you tell us how long was that training? How long was the training or the course? How long was the course?
First of all, thank you, Chairman. 3 major projects that I would want to see implemented within my tenure as the CEC.
Yes, and one for every project. Like you tell us one for education, tell us one for sports,
yes,
tell us one for culture, another one for social services.
Thank you.
One.
Thank you. That is exactly what I would want to do, Chair, and thanks a lot for the opportunity. Now, in as far as education is concerned, Chairman, you have talked of projects, and I don't know if this may be taken as a project, but I do believe it's still part of a project. You know, I come from a village, Chairman, and where there are ECD classes and centers. And what pains my heart, and I'm sure it pains also the hearts of these members, is that the children who are taught there, sometimes the environment is not that pleasant. Maybe there's no class that is designed professionally and up to standard for the children. You see them crowding within a very small place without really equipments. And so that is one area that I really would want to focus on, that for the very ECD centers that do not have classes, good classes, up to standard, I have to work toward ensuring that there is some kind of standardization, especially classes that will be built from now onwards for the next 5 years, and I believe even in the coming years. Now, when it comes to sports, Chairman, I know this is an area where the youth are really empowered, and the economy of today focus on talent as well as knowledge economy. And part of this, if we would really want to empower our youth, is to help in their sporting activities, be it athletics or be it ball games. Now in our county, Chairman, since I'm a resident member of this county, I've had for several years of the Kabarnet Stadium that need to be put up, and I'm doubtful if it is up yet, and also Ravine Stadium that needs to be refurbished and renovated. So among some of the projects that I would want to engage in, with the help, of course, of my boss, the governor, and the entirety of the executive, and also this honorable house, that we have those facilities. And of course, resources are so limited. We may not really have a lot of resources. But if we have those two to begin with, then we are good to go. And then maybe in the near future, every sub-county need to have some kind of stadium so that the talents that our youth that inhibit in our youth should come out, and then this turns around to be even an economic empowerment. And then finally, when it comes to culture, Baringo is a county of diversity. In a number of areas, culturally speaking, this is a county of diversity. And I know, of course, at times there are very little resources probably that are allocated to promoting culture, but at least there are activities that are going on.
Reverend, I'm afraid if we go that direction, we may not utilize time properly. I would like you to be brief and specific to the point, precise to the point, so that if I expect you to tell me about culture, you tell me I want to do ABCD.
Okay.
Yes, so that we minimize time, because time is a resource that's limited, and we have so much to cover today.
Okay. So for that last one on culture, Chairman, is that I'll try my level best with the help of the executive and my boss, the governor, and also this house, that we establish a cultural center, a very serious cultural center, even within a metropolis like Kabarnet, whereby our cultural values are put into use.
Thank you, Reverend. You have said you want to establish a cultural center. I hope that's the point you want to make.
Yes.
Okay. The other question: how long was your training with Kenyan School Administration?
It wasn't a very long training, Chairman, because
Reverend, let's just specific: 1 week, 2 weeks, 10 days.
No, it was just a week.
A week. Thank you. At this point, let me request Honorable Kibet and Honorable Sialo to ask their questions.
Morning, Reverend.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. My question, I want you to tell us, how are you going to improve access to education in the remotest parts of Baringo? As you know, Baringo has so many remote parts who are still not accessing education. And you gave us how you have been able to have a pioneer. So can you tell us how you are going to do that? Another issue that I want you to tell us is we have a school feeding program. It is happening not in a uniform manner. You will find schools which are giving the school feeding program, others are doing it their own way. So how will you implement the school feeding program in Baringo? Another question, Reverend, I want you to outline 5 key development objectives for the Department of Sports, Culture, Youth, Gender, and Social Services. So maybe we'll just put it in point form so that we are able to move. Thank you.
You want me to answer?
Let them ask all the questions, then you can answer all of them once.
Okay.
Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. Which position did you apply for?
I applied for this position that I'm nominated to.
Which position did you apply for, Reverend?
Or you mean when applying or when nominated? I actually applied for devolution.
Yes.
I did apply for devolution, but the governor in his wisdom assigned me the role of education. Yes.
So do you think you're comfortable?
Yes, I'm very comfortable. In fact, at first, I wanted to apply for the one for education, but I said there are so many trained teachers around this county, so it will be so crowded. But that was my heartbeat. Now, as a pastor, God saw the desire of my heart, and I was given the very one I had in mind. Yes.
Okay. Now, from your CV, I can see you're a clergy, and you did theology. You've been in a religious setup.
Yes.
Now you're being nominated into a political setup. How are you going to cope up with the politics?
Okay.
Honorable Siala, are you through with your question?
Now, given this opportunity, what is your plan? What do you think you will do in the first 100 days in office? And finally, since the inception of devolution, there are so many laws that were enacted in Baringo. Could you be in a position to probably tell us about 5 of them? 5 of the laws that were formulated that are relevant to this position that you've been nominated to. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Reverend, you can answer those questions. Then we go to the next set.
Yes. Thank you, Chairman. The first question a member asked is about how I will make a contribution toward ensuring that education gets to the remotest parts of our county. And let me say, Chairman, that it is this honorable House that will assist in doing this, because the way out is to ensure that we have ECD centers within our wards, and also we have teachers, which means our teachers have to be trained in order to provide quality education to our young learners. Now, 5 development objectives. One of it, actually, let me begin with that one. One of it is to establish ECD centers within our county, and also the one I had mentioned about establishing a vibrant cultural center. And again, Chairman, we need to have those stadiums within Kabarnet and also Ravine. And later on, if God provides finances through partners or through the exchequer, whichever way, in the very near future. You know, Chairman, Waswahili wanasema palipo na nia pana njia. So, and then, so we need to put up even stadiums within the sub-counties. And then, in as far as sports are concerned, Chairman, we, as a CEC, I will try my level best to expand my linkages network, because even in the area of sports, it's a devolved area, and we are not confined only to the county. There's always, we can link up even with the national government, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and then even put up, you know, promote other games that are not necessarily there. You know, so many times people concentrate on ball games and athletics, but also we can develop even sporting talents in other areas like cricket, darts, tennis ball, and one other important aspect that I would want to consider, and by the help of the executive, is that we need also to have coaches that will coach our teams within the county. And the other question that a member asked, Honorable Sialo asked Chairman, is that I have been a clergy all the days of my life, and I'm getting into a political position. Now, if you heard me well, Honorable Member, from the beginning, I'm probably one unique clergy. I have had experiences, of course, 100% within the church, and also have had opportunity to work with government. And I know how government agencies work. And so that new knowledge is not actually going to be very, very foreign and unique to me. 100 days in office, I know that may sound short, but also long time when it comes to someone who would want to work, and I'm one of those persons, Mr. Chairman. One of the things I'll have to ensure is that I need to have the database of all the ECD institutions, a database for the teachers, and also ensure that the administration of this particular ECD centers is in place. Because I say so, Chairman, because most of the time, ECD centers are quite a number. Like I was told that we have like almost 900 ECD centers and over 1,800 ECD teachers. And if not probably managed and observed and monitored, then it's not possible to really achieve our educational goal for the early childhood development. Thank you.
Thank you. There's one question you've not answered, the school feeding program.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Now, thank you, Chairman. For the school feeding program, I know this is such a very important area and also very, very challenging area, because children and food is the same thing. And I know most of the schools may not be getting food for feeding every other time. One proposal I will come up with is that, you know, the primary schools have what they call capitation. And since the ECD is a devolved function, ECD is here to stay with us, and we have to better it by all means. And therefore, whatever amount that is allocated to ECD, in order for efficiency, since every ECD should be having board of management within its context, then there should be need for capitation, so that the amount meant for feeding should be directed to the actual school for them to handle their resources. And I'm sure, of course, that is not even sufficient. But there are donors who probably are there now, and we can still reach out to more through strategic partnerships, so that if they are in a position to assist us, even feed children, especially in the marginalized and hardship areas, the better. But of course, since it's our sole responsibility as a county to ensure those children, those learners, get their education and also their well-being is also taken care of, we need to actually consider capitation for them as the primary schools are done. And Mr. Chairman, you know, it is this same house, you honorable members are the ones who know where the shoe pinches. And so through the Department of Education of the House, I'm sure we'll be in a position when we team up together to even convince this House when it comes to budgeting to consider, you know, increasing even funds to the ECD centers.
Through the chair, Reverend, you are aware of public participation?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever participated?
Yes, once, but once I did participate once. Yes.
You see, Chair, Reverend, you know, all the time people say you members, but we are realizing those who are so much informed in the society, like Reverend Kiuta,
yes,
has been absconding public participation in Churamaya. And that's the reason why I went to Churamaya. I was a member of PICPAC. Most of the ECDs were not complete, even maybe at your backyard. So can you tell us, how do you intend to ensure that everybody, especially on education, participates in that public participation? Because if you only attended once, that worries for everybody. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. I would have wished that I had all the time, but you see, Chairman, when you are employed somewhere else, you are actually a slave to someone. But as a member has put it very clearly, the aspect of the education of the children is actually the honors of the parents and of the community members. So one of the things I will do, Mr. Chairman, since now if approved to be the CEC education, is to ensure, even through the network of the ECD teachers and the county coordinators, and of course the planners within the county on public participation, it has to come very strongly, even during the executive proposals and meetings toward public participation. So this, you can be sure, Chairman, from today on, and God keeping us alive, maybe after 5 years, you will actually tell that Reverend Kiuta, who was assigned this docket, has really done a superb job, because now everybody knows that ECD is such an incredible undertaking within our county. Thank you.
Chair, through the chair, Mr. Kiuta, Reverend.
Yes, sir.
I ask you about some of the laws that have been enacted since inception of devolution, and I asked you to at least mention 5 of them.
Okay. For the county or?
Yes, county, that are relevant to your department.
I'm sorry, Chairman, I may not have really answers on my fingertips in as far as that one is concerned. But of course, you can be sure. The first day in office, I have to know. I have to know it.
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
Chair.
Noted, Reverend. Because of time, I'll give Honorable Kimosop to ask a question. Then I'll ask Honorable Fenalin, in that order, Lolkisoi, and Lokorio, in that order. Then you'll answer all the questions once.
No, Chairman, mine is a follow-up to this Honorable Sialo question. And I think, Reverend, I want us to be specific here. The department you will be in and the county government is governed by laws, acts of parliament. And we are only asking, which laws do you know? And these are specific, like which act this act of parliament, if it is like even us here, we are here courtesy of an act of parliament called Appointments Act, which governs our operations here. Now the governor has nominated you courtesy of a law. So do you mention a few of those laws specific? 1, 2, 3, this act that will govern the devolution. Because I'm afraid then if you say you may not have the specific, then it shocks me because you are going to be a very senior person in this treatment.
So, Reverend, you'll answer after the rest have asked the questions. Just know the question.
Thank you, Chair. Reverend, I know you understand the role of a CEC. May I know some roles of a CEC that you know? Just name 5 of them or any. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming and appearing, and congratulations for being nominated. And then you are appearing before us for vetting. We have a few things, maybe in education, because this is a docket that I'm passionate. And being passionate in this sector, I may be having some 2 or so questions to ask. One, outline the county budgeting process. You can outline county budgeting process. Also, 2, discuss the merits and demerits of CBC system in Kenya, merits and demerits of CBC. In Kenya, it's an ongoing process within our country. 3, and the last one, is what are the challenges facing education sector in the county and possible solutions? Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to ask the nominee for education, Reverend Kiuta, 2 questions. The first question, Reverend, is highlight strategies that you would put in place to ensure the county planning is translated into departmental objectives and ultimately serve or produce service delivery. That's the first question.
Okay.
Question number 2. Briefly, or let us know if you are aware of your counterpart in the national government, that is the PS education nominee in the national government. And the last one. What would be your distinct roles from those ones of the national government? What?
Distinct roles?
Your distinct roles from those of the national government. That is the county roles as the CEC nominee for education.
Thank you. Thank you.
Clear. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. The question regarding the act, I would want to say, Chair, what I meant by I may not know the ones for education within the county, because I'm sure as a CEC, one of the roles, although I'll still come to it, is that is to ensure that to bring bills and which will be passed within the House. But in as far as the devolution laws are concerned, I know that we are here as a county because of Chapter 11 of our Constitution, which of course is actualized through the Act of Parliament of 2012. So my operation is within the law. There is nothing in government that you do minus the law. And therefore, that is how I will be operating as a CEC every time, conscious of the stipulations of the law. And then, Chair, I know my roles in as far as the Act and the Constitution is concerned is that as a CEC, I have by all means to execute the legislated laws, be it county or even those from the national government. And also, I am one of the policy makers because I am within the executive, and through the executive deliberations, I may also be in a position, have the privilege of even coming up with bills that need to be escalated to the county assembly for, of course, for the governor to assent to, and of course for implementation. And then my major role, of course, is to provide supervision and administration to the department, because I'm the agent of the executive within that department, and ensure that all national policies and legislations are adhered to. And then one of the other thing, of course, is that to build a teamwork and provide leadership within the department. And one very important one also is that I have to report probably on quarterly, as demanded by the law, to the Committee of Education within the House. And now, one question regarding the CBC. Of course, there are merits and demerits. And some of the merits within this new curriculum is that the goal of it is really to actualize the components within our Vision 2030, whereby we have those 3 pillars on economic, social, as well as political. And the curriculum prepares the learners toward being relevant to the challenges that come with the 21st century. And again, this is a program that promotes ethnic coexistence and patriotism among the learners. It's also a program that enhances character formation within the learners and also gives time to improve on their skills. Now, there are a number of demerits. One of the demerits which has really faced CBC curriculum is that there was no proper public participation. Stakeholders were not really brought to the picture. And the program is not bad. And so it has a lot of teething challenges. Now, I know some people who still have those little ones. I have one, by the grace of God, a little one. It's a very expensive thing. And if it is expensive to those people who are in a position even to meet some life needs, what about those in the very far places? And again, the program, the curriculum really calls for internet connectivity. You will find that CBC children will always ask for your phone. And what about if a parent do not have a smartphone, or even if they do, maybe they do not have the data. So those are some of the challenges, and this is why it has been subjected to review once again. His Excellency the President on 30th September this year had to launch the 42-member task force, and I'm sure even they are closer here, doing the same. So those are some of the challenges that come with it. And now, distinct roles, some of the distinct roles that as a CEC education that I hold to is that I'm not in charge of primary education or secondary education or college education. I'm only confined to ECD and also vocational training education within the county. But having said that, that does not mean that the docket I have has no relationship with the basic education at all. And then a member also did ask me to probably tell of my counterpart in the national government, the PS of education. I do believe is Honorable Kibelio Kipsang has been given that particular docket. Sorry again, Chairman, there's a member who asked about two objectives. Sorry, please, Honorable Okorio, if you may repeat for me, I will really appreciate.
Okay, Chair. The question was, Reverend, and probably before the question is, there was something you mentioned, you did mention that was so nice, that you would think of coming up with bills that will strengthen ECDs, probably going forward, suggest the kind of bills in your thoughts that you would want these legislators to legislate so that it enhances the ECD. Now, to my question, that's the strategies that you would put in place so that you ensure planning is translated into departmental objectives and ultimately service delivery. That was what I wanted you to look at.
Thank you, Chairman. The county, according to the Act of Parliament 2012, it's incumbent upon the county to come up with a CIDP plan, that is the County Integrated Development Plan, which I'm sure, even as we speak, there's public participation probably going on in as far as the third generation CIDP. And therefore, even as a department, we draw our structures from there, our plans are from there. Because it is only through what is presented to the public, and they have that ownership that matters a lot. And therefore, for it to be translated into a tangible action, these plans have to be financed. There should be a budget that has to finance these particular plans for the citizens to realize their actualization. And so, as a department, we would have to come up with those annual plans every time to ensure that what the public require done within my docket, be it in education, be it in sports or culture and social services, then they need to be put in place for the year, and of course they have to fit into the CDIP, and of course ask for funding toward their implementation. Thank you, Chairman.
Reverend Kiuta, I'm afraid that we have less than 9 minutes.
Maybe, Chairman, it's something small.
Honorable Logori, what's funny?
Something small that I would like to get clearance from Reverend. Tell us something small. You skipped the distinct roles between the national government and the county government. This, if you may be aware. The roles of the national government in education and our roles as a county.
Okay.
In terms of provision of education. Yes, just that.
Thank you, member. The law specifies them. Schedule 4 our constitution puts demarcation, the roles and the functions for the county and the roles for the national government. The national government have like 34 functions, and for us we have 14, and which means primary education, which ECD falls under, is part of that particular role, and even culture, social services still fall under that. Yeah. Thank you.
Reverend Kiuta, I'm afraid we have less than 7 minutes. But I'm afraid I can't, because you asked a pertinent question by Honorable Sialo and Honorable Kiputa Kimosov, but they have always been going round and round. And I think it's not fair. This is a senior position, Reverend Kiuta. The CEC in charge of education. And I want you to be specific. Which law provides for the position or creates the position of CEC? That's a direct question. And if you get the law, you also provide us the section or the article of that law that creates that position. And I would not also want to leave the question that was asked by Kimosop. I would like you to give us 3 laws that govern devolution in Kenya. Because this is a senior position. If it was any other position, I would have excused you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you with this position, a law should be part and parcel of me. But in as far as the county government is concerned, first and foremost, of course, the Chapter 11 of our Constitution gives us, the laws. And now, Chairman, I have no Constitution here with me, but I know that Chapter 11 from Article 174, I believe, to 200, gives the functioning of the county government.
Reverend,
yes.
Don't run away. Ask you about the CEC. If you don't know, kindly say you don't know. We call the next question.
Now, I know, Chairman, you are a lawyer, and I don't have to guess before you. I know.
It's not about being a lawyer.
I know, Chairman.
No, Reverend, yes. Reverend, you see, for us, there's a reference point. Before you speak, you say, when you appeared before this committee,
yes.
I told you are a creation of the Constitution, yes. And Section 7 of the Public Appointments County Government. Yes. So for you, I'm sure the day you appointed as CEC, you should have gone first of all and ask yourself, where do I find this position of CEC? Where do I get my mandate as a CEC? So now when you appear before us this morning, you should be able to tell us CEC is a creation of Article this of the Constitution. That's the much I expected from you. I hope I'm not asking much.
Oh, okay.
It seems you don't know that one. Let's leave that one. The second issue is the issue of 3 laws governing devolution in Kenya. 3 laws. I don't want to ask many. I know there are many. Yes.
You mean now, Chairman, specific articles?
No, 3 laws. I'll give you one. County Government Act. You have answered one.
Oh, okay.
That's number one. Now, 2 and 3.
Oh, maybe I have not given serious. You know,
No,
there are
it's
so,
okay, it's
Chairman,
okay.
there are so many, Chairman, there are so many.
Okay, Bishop, it's okay. Reverend, it's okay. But please, next time, when you appear before the Education Committee,
yes,
the chair for education, I know there are members of Education Committee here. I want them to ask you that question when you appear before the Education Committee. That's if these members approve you. The next time you appear before us, we'll be specific, we'll be going to details, especially on the laws.
I'll master, be sure, Chairman, I'll master them from when I leave this door.
What's planning, Honorable Kisoi?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Reverend, for being honest and being able to answer what you can and being honest on what you can't. Thank you for that. I had asked a question, and I wanted to know, are you aware of some of the challenges affecting education in this country, yes, and in Kenya, in Baringo specifically? Are you aware of some challenges,
yes,
overall education? And then the next one, are you aware that you can be involved in any way in budgetary process? Can you give us a specific thing that you can be involved in budgetary, if any, and the challenges affecting education in this country?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Of course, there are a myriad of challenges facing education in our county, and one of them is the issue of insecurity, especially in Baringo South sub-county, and also North Baringo, and then Tiaty, and by extension, it affects the entirety of our county, because a county is one body, and when one of the parts hurts, it really bothers. And of course, that is not the only one. There are a number of others. As I did mention earlier, like the very docket that if you approve me to serve as the CEC, there are many ECD centers probably that have no trained teachers. And that is a big problem. And of course, feeding is a serious problem. And as we speak now, with the ravaging drought, I'm sure a number of schools are not operational because of a ravaging drought. There's no food. And food that probably donors and partners are providing may not be sufficient. Yeah. And then, of course, in as far as the budget is concerned, as a department, I have to play a very key role. I play a key role in as far as the plans for the department are in place, and of course these plans are within the CIDP, and then I have to be involved in one way or another, alongside of course my team, to ensure that we have annual plans that will translate to now the budget. Thank you.
Chairman.
Honorable Kibet, we are run out of time.
Okay, just one final one. When you asked about your counterpart, for example, you are the CEC Education. Who is your counterpart international?
Sorry, Chairman.
No, Honorable Kibet, I think the question by Honorable Lokorio was the Principal Secretary.
Yeah,
it was on the Principal Secretary.
I had.
Yes, and he answered. Perhaps you can ask your question now.
You know, when they say the counterpart, and then
yes,
he said Bello Sang, so I wanted to know if he still insists.
No, you ask the question. Ask the question.
So you said your counterpart in the national government. Can you give us who is your counterpart, and about the PS you have answered about that one? Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. I was only respectful to the member because he said your counterpart or the PS, yes, but I knew, of course, the CS is.
Reverend Kiuta, the chairman has already issued directive on that. We can't revisit it.
Thank you. Yes. So my counterpart is Honorable Ezekiel Machogu. Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend. Reverend, we want to give you 3 minutes to make your final remarks. Thank you for coming. But you make your final remarks.
Thank you, Chairman. First and foremost, I would want to appreciate you as the chair and this entire panelists for giving me a very humble time. I realize, of course, the questions were very considerate, and I did try my level best to answer them. But you can be sure, Chairman, if this Honorable Assembly House approves me to this docket, next time I appear before the committee that is in charge of my docket, I'll be closer to you in law. And so I really appreciate and I wish you God's blessings as you continue with your noble job. Thank you very much.
We have come to the end of this session. This committee will retreat and make a report on your suitability. I know you're a prayerful person. You continue praying. Pray also for us that God may favor you. I don't know whether the prayers will reach these members, but you continue praying. And honorable members, we have come to the end of this session. We are having another member in another 10 minutes. Reverend Kiuta, thank you. Mr. Lokore, you can hand over the documents to the nominee. We wish you all the best. If you are successful, we will work with our committee.
Thank you, Chairman.
You can escort him out as we prepare for the next session.